Sup, guys? It's Toad. I'm back with you, and this is going to be the bracket special for both the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs. So I'm going to do something similar to what I did for I did it for college football and, of course, for March Madness. So the March Madness gets way more involved. I mean, we have fewer teams involved here, so you don't have to really go like round by round as much. But I kind of do a similar thing where I'll like build the bracket backwards. Like you want to pick the champion first, just looking at the odds based on like how much this team is picked. And this is for like if you're in like pools and whatever, although there's going to be way less variance like in the NBA. Like NBA typically very much chalk because it's 7 game series. Like the cream pretty much rises to the top. So you pretty much just want to go favorites. It's very boring, really. So I'll do that one first. And then NHL can be way more chaotic. I do have my brackets already filled out that I did initially, but I think I'm going to change them a little bit. And thanks to all of you who were here for my show that I did with Clint, where you kind of know where I'm going with my NBA bracket, although I might change a couple of things. But we talked about the NFL playoff bracket a couple nights ago, I think. So thanks to Clint from Liberty Lockdown, Clint Russell, on what we're calling Bald is the name of our show here that we do. We've only done those 2 episodes. Us 2 bald guys talking about ball, baby. Charles, that's right. Build the brackets backwards, just like I am built backwards. All right. We're going to get into it. So I have a lot of stuff up right now. I have DraftKings up, and I didn't check my audio, but apparently you can hear me, so that's good. So I do have DraftKings up for the odds here for the champions. So I guess this is where we'll start. We'll start with the NBA playoffs here. So what I have up is I have my bracket, which I might change a little bit, but of course I'm kind of giving it away because you can already see my bracket here. But then what you want to do here is you want to pick the champion first. So the way that you do that is you want to look at who's being picked on ESPN, and these are the percentage picks for the champion picks. And then ESPN, they don't give you the round by round statistics anymore, unfortunately, although it matters way more for college. But you can pretty much gauge like who's kind of a public play here and who isn't based on what we see here. This is the people's bracket on ESPN. So this is basically they just go round by round and they advance the team that's being picked more by the public. So essentially, like out of the people, like so 98% of the people are picking the Celtics in the first round against the Magic. And then out of the people that have the Celtics and the Knicks, I think, playing each other in the next round, 89% of them are advancing the Celtics beyond that. So I think that's basically the way that you read into this. So the way that we do this is, how do we do this? Well, we look at the actual odds. And as you can see here, I mean, the 2 teams that are like clear favorites here are the Thunder and the Celtics. This is DraftKings. I mean, you can look at FanDuel, ESPN Bet, etc. A lot of different sports books that we have in Massachusetts here. So a lot of them have somewhat different odds, but basically the Thunder have the best odds. Celtics have the second best odds, which kind of surprises me actually, because I think the West is more difficult than the East this year. Although of course the Cavs could give the Celtics some problems. As far as the West, I actually think that the Thunder path is a little bit better there. Oh, thank you, sir. It might be my soothing voice. I don't know. It's very soothing. And then beyond that, you do have the Cavs at plus 750, which is a far stretch from OKC being plus 165 and the Celtics being plus 195. So as far as a champion, it looks like you're probably going to take the Thunder or the Celtics already, basically looking at this. Cleveland has a shot, and then beyond that, probably you're kind of looking at long shots there with the Lakers being next at 14-1, Warriors 16-1, and then so on. Interesting, by the way, the Clippers have better odds than the Nuggets at 25-1 versus 35-1. And the Bucks actually have better odds than the Pacers, and Warriors have better odds than the Rockets. So that kind of does translate into the series prices as well. But it's interesting that the teams that are the lower seed in those series actually have better odds to make it further in the playoffs, which is pretty interesting. And it kind of corresponds to what we see in the series price, but not exactly. So we'll start with the champion pick here. You can see that I already picked the Celtics. I don't know that I'm going to change that. The Thunder are the most picked team at 26.7%. So, sorry, that was the NHL there. Thunder at plus 165. I'm just going to throw it into this odds calculator here quickly, and this will tell you, although this doesn't account for VIG, but it does tell you the implied probability is 37.7% for the Thunder to win. So they're actually being underpicked in this bracket, I think, at 26.7. So they actually have an 11 point leverage on what they're actually being picked, which is interesting. So you could just go with the Thunder to win the whole thing. Now, if you watch my college basketball bracket special, I had this whole thing where I took all the odds and I calculated out what the actual over round was, because the over round is the books their odds won't add up to 100%. Like their implied probability won't add up to 100% because they obviously need to make money. So as far as these futures are concerned, obviously they're not going to give you the best odds here. So the implied probability is going to add up to way more than 100%. So then you have to take what percentage above 100% is that, take that percentage and then actually multiply it in. So the implied probability, if you factor in the over round of the VIG, is going to be a little bit less than 37.7%. But I think what we could say is that because the over round is going to be equal for every team, you don't even really need to do that. I think maybe I got too autistic with my college basketball bracket. So we can throw in the Celtics here plus 195, and they're 33.9%. And so that means they have an 8% leverage. And then if you want to do the Lakers, they're being picked at 19.2%, at 14-1, only 6.7. So you get down there, and the Lakers are actually being overpicked. So basically, you pretty much want to take the Thunder or the Celtics, even though it is chalk. That's pretty much what you want to do as far as filling out this bracket, even though I know basically everybody has one of those two teams, but they're actually being underpicked because people kind of like to get cute here. But in a 7-game series, I mean, the best teams are going to rise to the top. And like I said, the best teams are Oklahoma City, Boston, and Cleveland. And I don't really think any other team is going to win the championship here. It's going to be one of those three. So as you can see here, I pretty much just went with that. And I have Celtics and Thunder in the final. But the reason that I did take the Celtics, Thunderstruck, yeah, AC/DC. The reason why I did take the Celtics over the Thunder, though, even though they have a little bit less leverage there, is because of the experience factor. And that's just the reason why I did it. And I think I'm just going to leave it that way. I didn't put in the amount of points, by the way. Oh, wait, will the finals MVP score in the entire playoffs? I'll have to go back to that and think about that, because that's one guy scoring. And, you have to say average will probably be about 6-game series. How many points is that guy going to score if he scores? I mean, what do you think the MVP is going to score? 20 per game? So I guess you could go with... what does that come out to? 120? So I don't know, whatever that would be. All right. And then as far as making the final on the other side, then you can just look at the odds for conference winner. I mean, the Celtics and Oklahoma City are both actually favorites to win their conference. So I'll just go with those two. That's what I'm going to do. I mean, like I said, this is boring. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on there. So that's what I did. Then you got to determine who are those teams going to play. So just like I said, Thunder and the Celtics both have an above 50% chance, basically based on the odds to get to the championship. So Celtic pride, baby. I would recommend watching that movie if you haven't seen it. It's a stupid comedy from the 90s, and I'm actually in it as an 11-year-old. The last time I was ever at the Boston Garden. I saw some Celtics games there, but basically one of the last things that happened in the Boston Garden before they tore it down was they filmed Celtic Pride, which is a comedy with Dan Aykroyd and Daniel Stern putting on fake Boston accents that don't sound very good. And they're crazed Celtics fans. Yeah, that's right. And they are trying to will the Celtics to victory over the Utah Jazz in the NBA Finals. And they decide that they're going to get the Utah Jazz star player drunk one night because they realize that he's out partying in Boston. And they go meet up with him at what was the Roxy back then, which was an actual place, and it's now the Royale nightclub in Boston, which is still a club. I go there for concerts sometimes. Not really the nightclub life that's there a lot of the time, but I do go for concerts there, so it's kind of crazy seeing that club there. It was the Roxy back then. Now the Royale. So they go there and they befriend Lewis Scott, Damon Wayans' character, the best player on the Utah Jazz. And their plan is to get him wasted so he won't play well in a crucial game in the series. And instead, they wind up kidnapping him, and then they have to deal with that. It's a stupid movie, but I think it's underrated. And I was an extra as a kid in that movie with my dad, which I believe if you slow it down at one point, you can kind of pick out where we are because you can see my dad's like big beard in it. So that's I've tried to do it again. It's not very easy to do, but we were kind of on the opposite side from where Daniel Stern and Dan Aykroyd were. They tried to pack the Boston Garden with extras, and they were only able to really pack like the loge sections kind of in the main sections there, and everything else was either like edited in later, or they actually had like cardboard cutouts of people. Yeah, I mean, you know what you're going to get with a stupid comedy, but I mean, I like the Celtics. I mean, I usually watch it before the playoffs begin, which would mean I got to watch it probably tomorrow night, but I'm going to be at a comedy show, but it'll get out early enough. I can come home, watch Celtic Pride. And I believe Judd Apatow was a producer on that movie. I forget who the director was, but very stupid movie. And they did not even script in the main like chant from the Boston fans in that movie is Utah sucks, and that was not in the script. Like basically the script just called for the director was like, you guys need to just heckle Utah, just like chant something. And this one guy down in front of me was like, Utah sucks, and then everybody just started chanting that. I mean, it's an obvious chant, but that's the way it started, and I don't even think it was scripted in. Anyway, back to this. You got to choose who are the Thunder going to play, who are the Celtics going to play. I mean, the Celtics are obviously going to play the Cavs. I mean, I don't see any way the Cavs don't get there. I mean, this is a lot easier than picking a college basketball bracket, man. I mean, there's almost no way that it's not that. As you can see here, conference finals matchup, Boston and Cleveland is minus 175, so it's a pretty heavy favorite, so we'll just go with that. On the other side, though, the best odds is on OKC versus LA, and then really interesting, the next best odds is OKC versus Golden State, and then Minnesota. Very crazy. And then Houston. So Golden State getting a lot of respect in the marketplace. And I know they're an aging team, so I've heard some professional bettors that don't really like them, but either way, I'll just advance the Lakers there because they do have the better odds to get there. And if you look at the People's Bracket does still have the Lakers there as well. So actually maybe, I don't know, do we maybe not want to do that then? Because 81% of people are advancing them over the Warriors. The Warriors are actually getting the public pick percentage in that first round. Like, do we really want to like roll something crazy and go with the Warriors to get there? I'm considering it right now. I mean, I guess we could do something really crazy and do that because the Lakers are just very, very heavily picked, man. I'm wondering if I should actually do that and just go really crazy with it. It's a tough call, man. We got, the Lakers, like, they're definitely being overpicked. I mean, they're being picked as a champion more than the Cavs are. That's a tough call, actually. Should we get a little bit crazy and go with the Warriors? I don't know, man, because I know professional bettors, like I said, that actually like the Houston Rockets to win that series. I don't really see it. I'll go series by series in a second here, just to talk about that because that's really the last thing we have going here. I'll stick with the Lakers for now, but I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like that's a toss-up, to be honest. If you want to go Lakers, you want to go Warriors, you want to go with any of these four teams. Like, I mean, I think it's actually kind of like a crapshoot there, but the Lakers are being picked a bit more. So if you do want to fade the public there, you kind of want to go against them a little bit, but I am going a little bit chalky there. Anyway, the Thunder are up against TBD, but we do know now that's going to be Memphis. I mean, I don't know what the series price is. Maybe it's out now. Let me see. It probably is out now. I mean, the Thunder are going to be a massive favorite, so we really don't need to belabor that very much. Wait, what am I looking at? Oh, I'm looking at futures. Sorry. NBA, let's go to the series markets here. Yeah, Thunder are minus 1,800 over the Grizzlies. I mean, we don't really need to think about that very much. They're going to win that series, obviously. And I already have them advancing the whole way, but I'm just talking about that, pointing it out. I mean, Memphis, I mean, sure. I mean, they could maybe get in there, maybe win a game in that series. So the Thunder are just way too dominant. What would Clint do? I mean, we know Clint basically agreed with me on this bracket, like almost entirely. I mean, there's not a whole lot of things that you can change here as far as the bracket is concerned. But yeah, I mean, Thunder, Memphis, I mean, what can you even say? I mean, I think that's going to be kind of a high-scoring series. I think both teams kind of like to go a little bit faster in that one. And the Thunder, I mean, they're just going to be too much for Memphis. I mean, Memphis, they fired their coach not that long ago coming into like down the stretch there. So, I mean, the Thunder, I mean, they were in the playoffs last year, so they got a little bit of experience. They don't have as much pedigree as the Celtics do, though, or really as the Lakers do, although I think they will probably get to the finals. Even so, I mean, the Thunder are just such a good team, and they at least took that next step like last year where they at least did win a playoff series. I think they got bounced in the conference semifinals last year by was it Dallas? Did Dallas beat them, or maybe it was Minnesota? I don't even remember, man. I don't know who beat whom there. Okay, and then Memphis, I was going to say real quickly, things that I forgot to mention this morning. Memphis did win and cover tonight, I believe, but there were a couple other things that I forgot to point out. I forgot to point out Memphis's fired coach. John Morant was kind of injured, so I think he is back, though, and he'll probably be playing in this series. I don't know if it'd be 100%. But the thing I also forgot to point out is that Memphis played Dallas in like the final regular season game. Memphis crushed them by, I don't even know what it was, by like 40 points or something like that. So that probably was going to give Dallas a little bit of a chip on their shoulders. So that was one reason to maybe look Dallas's way. But I just think the spot was way too tough for Dallas in that game, being a 10 seed and having to go from the West Coast after winning that game in an upset back to like the Eastern time zone or the Central time zone, I guess, wherever the hell Memphis is, to play that game. It just was too difficult for them. So the Thunder, so the Memphis won that game. Thunder should beat Memphis there. Nuggets-Clippers is the most interesting series that there is, man. And this one, I actually think the Clippers might have moved to a favorite here. I mean, this is right there. This is on a pick'em price there, man. So let's see who's picking whom here. So 64% of people are picking the Nuggets. I'm wondering if we really actually want to go with the Clippers here, man. Maybe we do. I think I said that I went with the Clippers with Clint, right? So I hadn't changed this bracket. I'll go with the Clippers. I mean, fuck it. It's a pick'em price, and when it's a pick'em price and like 60-something% of people are taking the Nuggets, I know the Nuggets have the pedigree. I know the Nuggets have Jokic. I mean, he's basically the best player in the league still, but the Nuggets have Jamal Murray's injured. Speaking of fired coaches, they just fired their coach Malone with like a couple games left in the regular season, so there's kind of some turmoil there, and they're going to be going with an interim coach. I don't really think that bodes well. The Clippers have a stacked lineup. I mean, they got Kawhi Leonard there, even though he's definitely old now, but he's starting to play more minutes and more games, so we'll see what he can do there. And, of course, they got James Harden. I mean, they still have Paul George there, too, right? The Clippers have a stacked team, so I think they actually may even have more talent. And as far as in the middle there, they got Zubac or whatever his name is. He's looking like a pretty good player as well. So the Clippers are very well-rounded. They've been really hot to end the season, although sometimes the public is going to be on that hot team, but it looks like they're not really. It looks like they're still going with the Nuggets just because they have the pedigree and the name there. The Clippers, the biggest NBA merch sold in Israel. Why is that? Because Jewish owners, or because which most of these teams have that, but because of the Clippers losing, or like what's the deal there? I mean, the Clippers, I don't expect them to make it by the Thunder, obviously. So I think they'll beat. They will. I'm going to go with them to beat Denver. I think Denver's just in disarray right now, man. And you can go back and look at the regular season matchups between all these teams. I don't think it really matters that much because a lot of these teams just have different lineups now than they had back then. I mean, there's a lot of games down the stretch where teams are resting players too. So there's not really that much you can glean from the regular season matchups, to be honest, in a lot of cases. And we'll go with the Thunder to beat the Clippers, obviously. I think at some point, I mean, James Harden, I mean, his teams never actually like get like above a certain threshold. Him or Russell Westbrook, by the way, who's on the Nuggets now, although Russell Westbrook is kind of in a player role now. I mean, he's not really that star player anymore. James Harden is still kind of that star player there for the Clippers. So I still think, even though they are coalescing right now, I still think it's a little bit of a chemistry issue there. But I think the Thunder are just going to be too much for them. The Thunder are too deep as well. Clippers have a good starting five, but I think the Thunder will be able to advance there, even though both teams got a little bit of experience last year playing in the playoffs. The Nuggets, of course, have more experience, but they really lack coaching experience now with that interim coach there. Lakers T-Wolves, like I said, I do have the Lakers advancing here, but I think this could be a pretty close series. I mean, the T-Wolves certainly not a pushover. I mean, they made a nice playoff run to the conference finals last year. They got most of those guys back, although they did trade Karl-Anthony Towns, and they got Julius Randle, and I think that was a downgrade. Neither one of them played great defense, but I think Randle is worse on defense. I really think he's kind of an overrated player. I mean, Timberwolves do still have Anthony Edwards. Talked about this with Clint the other day as well. Rudy Gobert kind of being being demoted to kind of like a role player there as well. He is not what he once was, and he's supposed to be this like great defensive player. I don't think that's really the case anymore, but he's not going to have to defend Jokic most likely because they're on the other side of the bracket here. But the T-Wolves, I mean, they could give the Lakers a little bit of a run in this series. I think the T-Wolves do have the better defense. And I think they're talented enough and they have enough of a kind of a pedigree there that they might be able to give the Lakers some problems. The Lakers, I think, downgraded their defense with that AD for Luka trade, as I mentioned, even though it does upgrade the Lakers' offense. The Lakers, of course, do have a lot of experience there with LeBron and with Luka, although they don't have that much experience playing with each other, though. So maybe the chemistry could be a little bit of a concern because of that major change to their starting five down the stretch. But, I mean, they are veteran players, so I don't know if it'll really matter that much. So I do still think the Lakers get by. What's the series price on this? The Lakers are, where are we at? Minus 195. So they're like a decent favorite, although not an insurmountable favorite there by any means. So we'll have them advance there, though. And then I do think there'll be too much for either of these teams. So Rockets, Warriors. The Warriors are actually a pretty big favorite here. They're about the same as the Lakers here. Yeah, they're minus 190. So that line has dropped a little bit. They actually opened for at minus 200. But it's just interesting to see a 7 seed being a favorite. And as I mentioned with Clint, I think there was only one other time where a 7 seed was actually the favorite to win the series on the road. And that was, I believe, the San Antonio Spurs a while back. And they wound up winning that series as well. So the only other time it happened, they did win. Oh, Clip Tips. Yeah, I got you. That's why they're Israel. Yeah, the Clippers. I get it. Nate, what's up, man? NBA's gay. I mean, it's my best betting sport, though. Yeah, 4:30 a.m. I apologize. I'm on the East Coast, man. The gay-in tournament. Tonight, the Heat won and Memphis won, so I was correct. I didn't bet either one of those, but I was correct with my leans that I gave out this morning, and I played all baseball today, and I went 3-1 in baseball, so I had a pretty good day today nonetheless. So the Heat won, which I'll talk about in a minute, and congratulate them, but let me get through the West here. I am going to take the Warriors, not just because as a 7 seed being a favorite. I mean, the odds makers are telling you something. I've heard some professional bettors say, well, the Warriors are old. They're being overrated here. But I think the experience is going to give them the edge here. They have the experienced coach with Steve Kerr there. I mean, they got the pedigree there. You know, I mean, I don't like Steve Kerr because he goes out in press conferences and makes everything political, and his politics are gay, so fuck that. I mean, I think he should just focus on basketball. It's ridiculous. But, I mean, the Warriors have him. They do still have Curry, Draymond Green. I mean, these guys are obviously players with a lot of pedigree, although the knock on them is that they're way too old at this point. But still, they're facing, a really young Rockets team. But I think the inexperience is going to hit the Rockets, man. It might hit them right away in this series, even though they are hosting the series. You probably will see the series go pretty deep, though. I think it'll be a close series, but I do think the Warriors are going to get through that series. I think both of these series could actually be pretty close, so it's kind of a tough call there. So, I'm going with, talent and pedigree, basically, as far as these picks here. Houston, they also struggle to score at times. Their defense is really good. They're one of the better defenses in the NBA, but the Warriors aren't that far behind defensively, and the Warriors can score more, and the Warriors are a much more balanced team, and especially they added Jimmy Butler for that scoring. But then you could give them the same knock that I gave the Lakers a little bit, where it's like, well, they added the star player late in the season, so, do they have that chemistry? Do they have that chemistry now? Maybe. I mean, who knows? I mean, they've been playing pretty well with him, so I will go with the Warriors there. I mean, again, I'm going with chalk. That is, they are the favorite there, and I believe they're going to be underpicked here. Yes, the public is actually on them, even though they are the 7 seed. They're being picked 53% of the time, but I'm not sure that's public enough. And yeah, the Lakers are being overpicked. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to take a shot with the T-Wolves, I mean, I don't hate that. As far as the other ones, I think you're making the value play there, and then the Thunder are just way too big a favorite. But I mean, I think I'm still going to take the Lakers just because they are a big enough favorite that I think it just does overcome that those odds there. And then over on the other side, Pacers Bucks is actually an interesting one. This is a revenge matchup from last year, as the Pacers were the 6th seed and they beat the 3-seeded Bucks in that series last year, and the Pacers actually then beat the Knicks as well. And the way the Pacers did it, though, I mean, the Bucks had a bunch of injury problems. Lillard, Giannis, I mean, they were never healthy for the full series, and that looks like it's going to be the case again, as Lillard is not going to start the series. He's got like a blood clot or something, which is pretty dangerous. I do think Giannis will be there, though. So the Bucks, they're used to playing without Lillard, although that is definitely going to downgrade them a bit. Pacers, the knock on them is that they don't play defense. I mean, they play really fast. They score, but they don't play defense. And I think they advanced a little bit too far in the playoffs last year because, again, they beat an injured Bucks team, and then they beat an injured Knicks team as well. That Knicks team was really, really shorthanded, had a lot of – they lacked depth big time last year in that that playoff run. So what are we looking at as far as who so Bucks are being picked 57% of the time, though. So I do think you probably still want to go with the Pacers in the bracket here because the Bucks are being picked to that extent, and I don't think they're the favorite. No, they're the underdog. Plus 135, Pacers minus 165. So we'll stick with the Pacers there, as the Bucks are actually surprisingly being picked more than the Pacers are. Public doesn't seem to love the Pacers, and I've heard some professional bettors like the Bucks to do well in that series. I mean, they are at an underdog price, and it is probably going to be a competitive series. So, I mean, I could see the Bucks giving them a series. I could see that going 7 games. So we'll see. But then if it does, it'll be at Indiana. But I mean, I don't know how big the home court advantage is going to be for either team. Both teams play fairly close to each other geographically. Yeah, no defense. The slut style of playing. Yeah. So who won the play-in tourney, by the way? Yeah, so it was Memphis won tonight to beat Dallas, so they're going to be the 8th seed. The Warriors won the previous night, a couple nights ago, so they're the 7th seed. Heat won tonight, which I actually skipped that, so I should talk about that in a second. Magic won the other night to get the 7th seed, so they'll play the Celtics, and the Heat will be playing the Cavs as they won, and I'll talk about this now. Congratulations to the Heat because they became the first 10 seed going into the play-in tournament to ever get into the playoffs. I mean, this is only the 5th year that they've done this play-in thing, but the 10 seed has always been up against it, man, because the 10 seed has to play 2 games on the road and win both of them. But I told you, I said it on my show on Better Off Dead this morning. I said I liked the Heat today, and I talked about this with Clint too. We said that the Heat, and we thought that maybe Dallas had a chance to do it too, but I thought the Heat had a real chance to do it because I knew they were only going to be a very small underdog against both the Bulls and the Hawks. I played the Heat in that game against the Bulls, but the Bulls and the Hawks are both similar in that they play fast and they don't play defense. So I kind of thought the Heat had a pretty good shot to do it. And the odds makers were telling you the Heat were actually the better team in both of those games, as the Heat were only like a 1-point underdog in both games. I think they actually went off the favorite in the game tonight. So the Heat have done it. So congratulations to them winning 2 games on the road. Doing it, going from Chicago to Atlanta, at least wasn't that a huge amount of travel like Dallas having to go from Sacramento back to Memphis across time zones. The Heat didn't have to do that. It's a little bit easier for the Heat, but the Heat are going to lose to the Cavs. I mean, what can we say? I completely skipped it because I think it's like a given. Where are the Cavs at here? They're minus 2,500. So they're a pretty big favorite. A bigger favorite than OKC is. So the West is actually, you can tell that the odds makers are telling you the West actually is a more competitive conference here. The number 1 seed is only minus 1,800 over the 8 seed. And in the Eastern Conference there, Cavs are minus 2,500. So they're a huge favorite. I mean, yeah, I don't see them losing to the Heat. Heat, again, they don't have Butler anymore. I mean, they have a couple of good players there, not a Bio and Hero there, but they're not very deep, and I think they're just going to, even though they play good defense, they don't score very well. The Cavs are the more balanced team. Cavs should be able to take care of them. Cavs have more depth, and the Cavs have experience. I know the Heat, they do have a pretty good coach, but in Spoelstra, so they might overperform a little bit, but I don't think they're going to win more than like maybe one game in that series at most. Could be a sweep, so I think the Cavs will get through that pretty easily. Knicks Pistons, the Knicks are like a minus 400 favorite. You can see it here, so I don't expect the Knicks to lose here. The Knicks have the experience. I mean, they've been in the playoffs multiple times recently. They got Tom Thibodeau there, and I think there's going to be a fire under their ass because Thibodeau could get fired if the Knicks don't at least win this playoff series against the Pistons, probably. I mean, they're not expected to beat the Celtics, obviously, but they should beat the Pistons. Although we will see. I mean, the Pistons are a talented young team, and they're basically free-rolling. Is they're the one team here. I mean, they're the team that's the least experienced here. Very young team, and the Rockets probably the second least experienced. So they have no pedigree. They're not used to it. But then again, that means they're free-rolling, and nothing's expected of them. So they could maybe pull off an upset or two here. And they actually beat the Knicks 3 times in the regular season this year, which is kind of crazy. So the Pistons, I don't know if the Knicks had a full lineup in all of those games, but the Pistons did actually play pretty competitively against the Knicks. Could be a competitive series, but I think the Knicks are going to get through it. Pistons may win 1 or 2 games in that series, and that wouldn't shock me, but I think the Knicks will get through it. Knicks have the experience, and I mean, they do still have the better team as well. Cade Cunningham, very talented young player for the Pistons. They got a few good players there, but the Knicks, I mean, Brunson, if he's healthy, and he is back now, Anunoby, I know they both had injury issues, Hart, and all those guys. I mean, if those guys are back, the Knicks should be able to win that series. And then, of course, Celtics Magic. I will be at the game on Sunday, which is the second game on Sunday, 3:30 in the afternoon Eastern. Celtics are a giant favorite in that game, and they're the biggest favorite on the board on the series price. They're minus 5,000 to win the series against the Magic. I mean, what a difference there is between the 2-7 matchup between the East and the West. Like, how insane is that? That you have the biggest favorite out of any of the series, a minus 5,000 favorite on the 2 seed in the East, and then the 7 seed in the West is actually a favorite over the 2 seed in the West. That's insane. So we are obviously picking. I mean, we have the Celtics winning the whole thing. They should beat the Magic. I mean, the Magic. I could see the Magic winning maybe 1 game in the series though, because they play slow and they play physical and they have big physical guards. So they they present some challenge for the Celtics, and the Celtics have had some issues with them over the last couple of years. So the Celtics obviously should win the series, and I do think there'll be there might be a game where the Celtics don't show up, and hopefully it's not game 1. I mean, game 1 I think is less likely because it's game 1, man. It's the start of the playoffs. I think you're going to be on for game 1, usually. Hopefully that is the case and not overlook your opponent. But if you crush them, you might overlook them a little bit in the next game. By the way, the Celtics, I'll talk about this more when I handicap all the games on Better Off Dead, but this is Better Off Dead, but I mean the regular gambling show on Sunday. Celtics lost the last time they played the Magic, I think, by like 20 points towards the end of the season. Celtics only scored 75 points in that game or something, but the Celtics like benched every single one of their starters in the game. So yeah, I mean, so the Celtics might not take the Magic lightly just because they lost to them. Where a Tower Gang at, that would be interesting. I should wear it out actually on the streets of Boston. I mean, I could. I don't think I'm going to do it though for this. I got to wear all my Celtics stuff, man. I got to fully support the team. I'm going to paint my face, right? Or paint my chest after I get yelled at for it. You said not to paint my face, and as you can see, this is clearly not my face. If you guys like Seinfeld, that is David Putty, Elaine's boyfriend, when he is a Devils fan, and they're all going to the Rangers-Devils game, they're all Rangers fans, and he's a crazed Devils fan who paints his face, loves Seinfeld. It's all ridiculously hilarious. Yeah, Putty, Patrick Warburton. He's one of the best characters in Seinfeld, dude. It's a great show. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. One of my favorite shows of all time because I love comedy. But yeah, the face painting shit is so funny. All right, so that's the NBA bracket, man. I mean, not a whole lot to see there. Half hour on that, and then we'll go over to the NHL where I will warn you, in the NHL, I basically don't know any of the personnel in the NHL. I just bet hockey based on situations, and so I only know a little bit about it. I should watch it more avidly than I do. But that is the NBA bracket. I have Celtics over Thunder in the finals. Celtics, Cavs. I mean, I think those 3 teams should be the final 3, like 3 out of the final 4. I think the only question mark is who the Thunder are going to play in the conference final there. So I could see going with really any of these teams, but I would go Lakers, then Warriors, then T-Wolves, then Rockets, and that is what the odds are suggesting as well. So that's the NBA side of things. Now, if we move over to NHL, this is my bracket. I mean, I know this bracket looks absolutely insane, but this is the NHL, man. So we're about to get a little crazy in the NHL. El Diablo, yeah, that's right, the nun. Yeah, she thinks that David Putty is the devil when he's yelling at her in front of the well, it was not the nun, right? It was I thought it was a male priest, right? I think it was a male priest because he goes in front of the car and he's like, the devils, like you got to root for the devils, or maybe it might be two different. Is it two different people or is it the priest both? I think it's the same priest both times. I'd have to watch it again. But yeah, he's like in front of their car, like walking across the street, and he's in his devil shit. You don't mess with the devils. And then at the end, he thinks Elaine is like an angel. When she comes in, she's wearing all white. All right, so hockey. I mean, we're gonna do the same thing in hockey, and this is gonna get wild, man. Like I said, I might change my bracket here on the fly. If we look at the most picked champions in hockey, this is crazy. I mean, hockey is such a crapshoot. It's always wide open. Like you'll see, like the lowest seeded teams potentially make it like all the way in hockey. I mean, it is totally up in the air. Hockey is such a crazy close sport. Even when it's 7-game series like it is in the NBA. I mean, the NBA is such like a more like definitive sport as far as like the better team is going to be favored by like double digits a lot of cases, and they're going to win. In hockey, it's like such a close sport that the underdogs can easily pull off wins. So we could see a lot of things happening. So what we see here is the Washington Capitals are being picked the most, and they either had the best record in hockey or the second best. I think maybe the Jets had the best record. So the Jets are the cursed President's Trophy team, I think. So the Caps are being picked at 17.2%. We go over here and look, and where are the Caps? Where the fuck are they? They're all the way down at 11-1 to win this whole thing. So they only have the 9th best odds, according to the betting market, to win the whole thing. So guess what? We're not picking the Caps to win this whole thing. And they're not a very experienced team as far as like having pedigree, like going that far. So they're being way overpicked. So we're not going to be picking the Caps to win this thing. And again, yeah, it makes sense because like a little bit of a lack of experience there. They're not used to being in a position like this. And then the Jets, kind of a similar thing, man. I mean, these teams have been in and out of the playoffs recently, but they don't quite have that experience. I know the Jets, of course, they have the best goalie in hockey, though. They have Hellebuck. He's really good, and the Jets did get some pieces so that they can score better as well. Very good team. But I don't think it's going to happen, and they're being picked at 15.2%. And by the way, if you want to see how overpicked they are, we can go back to the odds converter here. So we had, what did I say? Was it 14-1 on Washington? No, 11-1 on Washington. 1,100. So they only have an 8.3% chance to win, and they're being picked whatever it was, 17-something%. So we know we're not picking them. We know we're not picking the Jets, being picked at 15.2%. And where are they at? They're at 10-1, so they're being overpicked as well, pretty significantly. So we're not going to pick the Jets either. Let me see, where are we at? I don't know. I don't have my tabs straight. They're at 9.1% implied probability, so we're not picking either of those teams. Then we'll just look at the actual odds here. So Colorado has the best odds to win it, and they're the third most picked team at 11.5%, but they are still plus 750, which is not great odds. So at 750. They're 11.8% implied probability, so the probability if you factor in the VIG is actually a little bit less than that. So it looks like very slight positive leverage, but I would kind of argue they actually have negative leverage because if you factor in the fact that the implied probability percentage is actually higher than it should be slightly. So I don't really want to take the Avs either. And I think the Avs do have some weak spots. Like I think their goaltending is kind of a weak spot. And it just seems like every year they're here and they just disappoint. So I'm not going to take them either. Maple Leafs are the next team up at 10.5% being picked. So it's like, who the hell do we want to pick here? We're on the Maple Leafs. They're down at 11-1 as well. So they're being overpicked as well at, let me see, 1,100. So 8.3%. And by the way, we're looking at teams that are only a difference of 3% implied probability between all the teams I mentioned before. So it's a complete crapshoot as far as which one of these teams. Oh, sorry, I'm going back to the NBA here. As far as which one of these teams is actually going to win the whole thing. And then we do have Well, let's go like based on the rest of these teams here. Florida Panthers have the next best odds. So these are the teams we actually want to look to maybe pick. They have an 8-1 shot here, and of course they won it last year, so I know they have the pedigree. But I think they're being underpicked, man, because they didn't do that well this season. Implied probability 11.1%, so almost as good as Colorado is. And where are they being picked? They're all the way down at 4.6%. So they have like plus 7% leverage, basically, although maybe it's a little bit less than that because the implied probability should be a little bit less than that. But this is crazy. They're only the 9th most picked team, which is why, as you saw in my bracket, I actually picked Florida to win the whole thing. And I think I'm going to stick with that, even though they are a 3 seed. So they'll be playing on the road. But in that first series, they're going to be on the road in their home state of Florida, playing against Tampa. So I think they can get it done there. And, of course, obviously they have the experience, as they did it last year. And the year before that, they were in the finals, I think, before that, too, right? I think they've been in the... or at least in the conference finals. I forget. Were they in the Stanley Cup finals the year before that? I don't even remember. I think they've made it multiple years in a row. So they have the pedigree, and they're being underpicked, and they're the team that has a lot of experience. And unfortunately, they have Brad Marchand, former Bruin, on their team. Now, by the way, I mentioned it on one of my shows. It's just crazy that this is the first time in like decades where we have no Bruins, Penguins, or Rangers in the playoffs all at the same time. Mark, what's up, man? They can get past Tampa. Yeah, Tampa's a good team. I kind of always question their defense, man. That's just kind of the way that it is. They can score. They have a good goalie, but their like defense kind of lapses at times. And Tampa, I mean, where are they at here? Their odds are actually the 3rd best. So that's actually interesting. So they're only at 9-1. So that it looks like, yeah, basically whoever wins that Florida-Tampa series is going to have a decent shot to go pretty far. And they got a 10% implied probability. And where are they at being picked? They're being picked above the Panthers slightly, though, at 5.9%. So I think the Panthers, because they're being picked less than the Lightning, and they're actually, they have better odds to win. I think the Panthers are still the pick between those two teams. And let me see. If we look at the, interestingly, though, that's very strange. So the Lightning are being picked more to win the entire thing, but the Panthers are actually being picked at 51% to beat the Lightning. So that's kind of interesting. We'll go series by series in a second here, but that's kind of interesting that higher percentage of pickers are picking the Panthers to beat the Lightning in the first round. But then it seems like a lot of people are bouncing the Panthers where they're not bouncing the Lightning. So that's kind of interesting. That's kind of what the public thinks there. And then we do have the Edmonton Oilers are also at 9-1. So they have that, whatever, that 10% chance probability there as well. Is that what it was? Yeah. And what are they being picked? The Oilers, they're at 7%. So they're a little bit above the Lightning. So don't really want to take them. And I know they were in the Stanley Cup Finals last year. The Oilers worry me, man. Yet again, their goaltending is a problem. They have a lot of scoring, but they give up goals. So I think it's an issue for the Oilers. And then we do have, let me see here. Next up, Carolina. I do like Carolina. They're also at 9-1, 10%. But where are they at being picked? They're actually being picked less than the Panthers at 4.2%. So interesting. They have similar leverage to the Panthers. So if you want to take Carolina, I don't think that's a bad pick either. I'm slightly leaning to the Panthers because I think their odds boost their leverage a little bit more than Carolina. But Carolina would not be a bad play against how they're being picked. People are ignoring Carolina, and that's because Carolina loves defense. Or Carolina plays defense, and the public does not love defense. The public loves offense. Yes, most people are retarded, but when it comes to hockey, I mean, hockey is so wide open, man. And they just tend to pick teams that may not be as likely to go as far. I mean, the public has no idea, like, what the future's odds are in hockey. Like, it's really hard to gauge. Like, any public bettor will look at this and just think, oh, these better teams are going to be the teams that advance. But in hockey, those teams with the better records, there's, like, not even that much of a variance. But not only is there not much of a variance between those, like, teams that have the best records in hockey and the teams that are down at, like, the 3 seeds, basically, not only is there not much of a gap, but a lot of times the teams that are down at the 3 seeds are actually a better team. Yeah, Carolina could definitely beat the Caps. Carolina also has the experiences. They've made playoff runs recently as well. Their defense is good. I mean, they have decent goaltending, well-rounded team. They did make that trade where they traded Natchez for who did they get from Colorado? I can't even remember. I don't remember names, man. Rantanen, is that his name? And it would seem like it was a bad trade. I didn't love it at the time, and a lot of people did like it for Carolina, but Carolina's really starting to play good hockey right now. So they look like a decent pick as well. And then we got Vegas at 10-1, Dallas at 10-1. And then beyond that, I'm not going to be picking any of the rest of those teams, but Vegas 10-1, Dallas 10-1. So 9.1% probability on both of those. And I think both those teams are being overpicked too. As you can see, Golden Knights are at 8.5%. Stars are at 7.1%. So they are actually leverage plays as well. So still the best leverage play out of all of that is the Panthers, because they have the second best odds in all of hockey to win the whole thing behind the Avs, and they're being way underpicked. So I still think the Panthers are the way to go here. Slight leverage on Golden Knights and Dallas Stars. I mean, they're both good teams, and they're being picked, 8.5% and 7.1%, and they both have 9.1% implied probability, so very slight advantage there. Yeah, hockey, hard names to remember. Rantanen, I guess he's starting to play better. I don't know. I'm not paying a whole lot of attention to that. They had him for only a week. Well, he's still there now, right? All right, I have too many windows open, or tabs open. I apologize for that. And hopefully I'm zoomed in enough that you can see it. I tried to not zoom in completely so you can still kind of see most of the bracket layout here. So, okay, we'll go with the Panthers to win the whole thing. Next up, I think I might change Dallas out here for another team. The next up is, who do we want to be in the finals? And obviously the bracket, the people's bracket obviously has Caps and Jets, and I'm not going to have either of them in the final here. But let's go to the conference winner. We got Florida with the best odds, and interestingly, again, Tampa second best odds to win the East. So again, it is tightly packed in the East here, and then Carolina right behind that. In the West, we got Colorado with the best odds at plus 360, which equates to 21.7%. How many people do you think are picking Colorado to make it to the final, I guess is the question. It's hard to gauge because they're not in the people's bracket here, so we don't really know. But people are bouncing them against the Jets here, basically. So you could go with Colorado to get there. I mean, they have the best odds to get there. Edmonton is at plus 450. Dallas is down at plus 500 now, so I don't know what I was doing with Dallas there. So Edmonton is plus 450 at 18.2, and Dallas at 16.7. What do we have in the people's bracket? The people are bouncing like all of these teams. They're bouncing this Dallas in the first, but Dallas is playing the Avs, so you got to make a choice there. And then we got the Oilers in this Pacific group here. The Oilers, it might be actually an easier path for the Oilers to get through that grouping there. So let me see, because where are the Knights? The Knights are all the way down at, plus 500. It's not much of a difference between plus 450. Jets are also plus 500. So you probably want to pick one of the teams in this grouping. Oh, my God. I mean, do we go with the Avs to make it there? I mean, they have the best odds, and it seems like maybe they're being underpicked to get there because everybody's bouncing them. Man. Yeah, I guess we're going to go with the Avs instead. So we'll have 2-3 seeds in the final there. And how many total goals will be scored by the team that wins? I don't know. What do we think? It'll go 6 games. Will it go 7 games? I mean, hockey a lot of times goes 7. 6, and you say maybe the winning team is going to score an average of like 2.5 a game or something like that. So that would be, what do we got there? So that would be 15 goals. That doesn't seem right. Is that right? That seems low. I don't know, something like that. But we'll come back to it if that's low. Yeah, because, I mean, 6 times 5 would be 30, and then if you cut that in half, yeah, I mean, interesting. All right. So then, actually, 2.5 seems low, actually. Maybe we'll go with 3. So, yeah, we'll go with, 18 maybe is a better shot at that. So we'll go with the Avs to get there, I guess, and then we got to figure out who's in the conference final. Probably you're going to go with Carolina here because the Caps are being overpicked. Everybody's got the Caps there. It looks like Carolina, as far as their odds to get there, I mean, they got the third best odds to get there. Florida and Lightning are playing each other, and people are not picking Carolina to get there, so Carolina's got to be the way to go there. In this bracket here, people are taking Carolina over the Devils, and then they're bouncing them right after that. So we'll take Carolina to get to the conference final. And then we will, in the other one, I have the Oilers there now. I think probably we're going to leave that being the case. As the bettors are the pickers, they don't have the Oilers getting there either. They got the Golden Knights getting there, and the Oilers have slightly better odds to get there. So I guess we'll go with the Oilers. You can kind of look at the odds that are happening in game one as well and kind of get a gauge of, the market's moving in this way. So I think I saw the market moving against the Dallas Stars in the first round, and maybe it was moving against, was it the Knights as well? I don't know. I forget. So you can that's kind of a gauge on where the professional bettors are going to think the series is headed as well, because winning that game one is going to be a pretty big win there. Let's see. Oh, was traded from Avs to Carolina for a week. Oh, he's on the Stars now? I didn't even know that. Yeah, I closed all my porn tabs, all right. Avs Leafs final. That would be interesting. I don't know. I mean, obviously, as a Bruins fan, I'm not a fan of the Leafs. If the Oilers aren't as hurt, they could go deep, yeah. I mean, they still have a lot of offensive talent. Knights are pretty strong, too. Yeah, I mean, any of those teams, you're not really going that wrong with it. 18 is better, yeah, because it's 666. That's right. We don't want to go with the mark of the beast, man. So, yeah, I guess we're just kind of going with the odds here almost. We're going with the best teams pretty much, the teams that have the best odds, but the public isn't picking any of those teams really to get as far as that. So we'll go with those switches there, and we'll go with 3 3 seeds making the conference finals, which seems crazy, but the odds indicate that that's actually more likely than the alternative. And then 2 3 seeds making the final as well. That's where we're going right now. And then we got to figure out who's going to win the opening series here. We can talk about these series briefly, even though I don't even know much about these teams really or who these players really are. Let's go to the series prices here, and then I'll get out of here. Here are the series. So Winnipeg is minus 190 to beat the Blues. That's not a huge favorite, man. I mean, the Blues, again, they have Montgomery now, the former Bruins coach. Bruins fired him, and the Blues caught fire and made a huge run down the stretch, and they got into the last wild card spot there. Or maybe they even moved up, actually. Or no, they must be in the last wild card spot because they're playing the team with the best record. So I think the Wild still wound up ahead of them. But the Jets are only a minus 190 favorite, man. So the Blues, I would not discount the Blues in that series. I mean, that is not a huge price. As you can see here, none of these teams are really that heavily favored except Washington over Montreal. So Washington very likely to get through that first series against Montreal. Winnipeg, which kind of, when you see a team that's that big a favorite, you kind of are tempted to go, oh, that means I want to take them like very far because they're the biggest, like I did with the Celtics. Celtics are the heaviest favorite in their first series, substantially so, and I'm taking them to win the whole thing. In hockey, though, it's so wide open that I'm still doing what I'm doing here, and I won't take the Caps, beyond, I think, that first series probably. So Winnipeg, they're still the favorite. I mean, we'll take them to win that first series. But the public is probably overpicking them. But they're enough of a favorite that I'll take them. But as far as the public is concerned, oh, whoops. I think I just closed out that tab. Hold on. Why can't I restore that tab? What are you doing, man? Reopen it. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Public, 87% are taking the Jets. So they are being overpicked, but I'll still take them there. And then we have them getting bounced by the Avs. And then we got Stars Avalanche. I mean, in that series, the Avs are the favorite at minus 155. And I think Dallas was the favorite. So this line has shifted a lot. I'm pretty sure Dallas was a favorite, or it was very close to a pick 'em. But there's a lot of money coming in on the Avs, I think, on the series price and in game one, which is interesting. Yeah, that's right. Gretzky, he still plays, right? I used to have I had an LA Kings banner back when I was a kid. I had sports banners all over my room, and I didn't have that many hockey ones, but I had a Bruins one, of course, and I had an LA Kings one because I liked Gretzky, and he was a Kings player back in the day. Even though I don't even really like the Kings, and I don't like LA at all. Of course, I hate the Lakers. So, all right. So, yeah, the Avs are the favorite there. I mean, Dallas, Certainly a good team, though, and the Avs aren't that big of a favorite, so really that series is still a toss-up, even though they have the Avs going all the way to the finals. I mean, this bracket could get wrecked right away, man. You never know. And then I have Vegas against the Wild. I got Vegas winning that series. They're minus 205. I mean, you know I've been saying all year the Wild are overrated, so I don't think they're going to win. I mean, the odds makers have been telling you that the Wild are not as good as their record indicates basically all year. The odds makers have been disrespecting them. Which may piss them off a little bit, but Vegas is the better team, and they got a little bit more pedigree there as well. And I think they got the better goaltending with Adin Hill there as well. The Wild, their backup goaltender is Fleury, and he's going to be going against his former team, the Vegas Golden Knights. He was on the Knights really early on. I think when they made that run to the finals with him there. They may have even won the cup with him there as well. And I believe he won a cup with Pittsburgh as well, so we'll go with the Knights there anyway, though. And then we have them losing to the Oilers. I can't get my tabs straight. Excuse me. Maybe I should just close all the... let me close all the NBA ones because I'm not talking about the NBA anymore. All right. That'll alleviate some confusion. So we do have that. And then we have the Oilers beating the Knights. I mean, fairly... Probably the more complete team there than the Avs over the Jets there, which, again, the Jets, President's Trophy curse, man. And I still think the Avs may be the better team. As the odds makers are telling you that they are. Even though the Jets would be hosting that series, home ice is not a huge advantage, man. NBA hosting in the playoff series does matter a little bit more. Home ice doesn't matter as much. And then we got Kings-Oilers. I obviously have the Oilers already winning that series, but the Oilers, I assume, are the favorite here. Not by much, minus 135. So this is pretty close to a toss-up series. And if we look at the people's bracket, they don't have a lot of them don't have the Oilers winning. So the public doesn't like the Oilers anymore here, man. With that bad stretch run that they had there. 87% of them are taking the Knights, and then only 60% are taking the Oilers. So again, I think you're kind of beating the public a little bit by taking the Oilers to go further, like I said, but they're not even being overpicked really to win that first series. Well, technically they are, I guess, because minus 135 doesn't equate to a 60% favorite, but they're really not being picked that heavily. And then over on the other side, we got Leafs and Senators. I mean, I got the Leafs winning that series. I think they're a big favorite there against the wild card Senators there, who are the top of the two wild card. But Maple Leafs minus 170. I mean, it is a big series between two rivals. So you got the Florida rivalry and you got the Ontario rivalry, both happening in the first round, which is crazy. So these could be crazy series, man. They could be... Both of these series could be super competitive because they're both rivalry series. And I do think the Maple Leafs will get through there. I mean, they got the experience. I think that's going to give them the edge. I mean, Ottawa is kind of out of their depth and new to this thing. So I'll go with the Leafs. And then, of course, I am going with the Panthers. Although they're not a huge favorite in this series. Actually, they're only minus 115 to beat Tampa. That's crazy. The odds makers are basically, as I already pointed out, the odds makers are basically making this series a toss-up. And then whoever wins that series is such a good team that the odds makers have them going really far. So it's a crazy first-round matchup between basically the teams. The odds makers are telling you these are like the top two teams in the East, basically. Them and Carolina. And they have to face each other in the first round, which is just insane. But I think the Panthers, with that pedigree behind them, the experience factor, I think they will get through that. Even though they are a very small favorite. Then, of course, the Caps, as I already pointed out, huge favorite. And they do have the experience edge over the Canadians, who I don't even remember the last time they've been in the playoffs would be. So Canadians and Ottawa really not used to being here. So I do think the Caps should get that series done. They are the biggest favorite out of any of these, but I have them losing next round. And then, of course, I do have Carolina over the Devils, even though the Devils were my dark horse pick when you guys asked me way back in the day. I said the Devils are a pretty good team, man. They were playing pretty well, but then Jack Hughes got hurt. Devils are probably just not going to win this series, man. Carolina minus 245. But if the Devils do win, I'll at least get to say, hey, my dark horse was able to do it. But the Devils also don't really have that much experience being in the playoffs here. Carolina does have more, as they've been time and time again, they're in the playoffs. So I expect them to get through it. And that's it, man. That's going to do it. So, again, hockey, we have Panthers over Avs in the final. We got the Oilers and the Hurricanes being the other conference finalists. And then in NBA against Celtics over Thunder, with Cavs obviously being in the conference finals and the Lakers being in the conference finals. And again, the Lakers might get a little bit of home cooking. I'll talk about that more when we get to when I break down each game, which is going to happen tomorrow and Sunday. I'm going to be talking about all these NBA and NHL games because the series start tomorrow. I will say, I'm going to say it again tomorrow, but the Lakers against Minnesota, the Lakers beat Minnesota the last time they played them. That was the only time the Lakers played them with Luka. The other times they played them was before that trade. So the Lakers only played one game against them with Luka. The Lakers won the game, and I think it was at home. The Lakers won by 9, but Minnesota was in a really ridiculous spot there where they had played back-to-back games against the Thunder going into that. And I don't know if I bet the Lakers in this game or not, but coming off of 2 straight games against the Thunder was really ridiculous. And they had played Houston the game prior to that, and they had played the Thunder before going into the All-Star breaks. They played 3 out of 4 games prior to playing the Lakers against the Thunder. So they were in a horrific spot, and they still played competitively against the Lakers. And if you look at that game, the statistics were all almost even in that game. And the Lakers had 20 more free throw attempts in that game, and I think they hit at least 12 more of their free throws than Minnesota did, and that was the entire game as they won by 9. So actually kind of a misleading result there, as that game could have gone right down to the wire statistically, and it was a bad spot for Minnesota. So Minnesota could have a chance in that series, man, based on that, and maybe would be a look in game 1 because of that misleading result in that previous game. The Lakers, of course, they're going to get home cooking when they're playing at home, but would they really have a free throw discrepancy of 20 free throw attempts? I don't know about that, man. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Yes, good night to all of you as well. Charles, happy Easter to all of you as well. Happy Good Friday. It's been Good Friday today, and everybody have a good and holy Easter weekend, man. Enjoy. I'll be going to my version of church on Sunday, man, being blasphemous, which is the TD Garden to watch the Boston Celtics. That's where I'll be worshiping on Sunday. I'm not a churchgoer. I know that makes me bad. Hail Satan, or do you mean Satan, the former Devils player there? Isn't it crazy that the Devils had a player named Satan back in the day? I mean, it's ridiculous. All right, man. So that's going to do it for me. I'll be back tomorrow morning, and hopefully the slump is ended and we're going to go on a major hot streak because we really got to turn it back around, man, and get back into the positive this year, man. March was so bad. I had a good day today with the baseball plays. So turning around, and usually NBA is usually my best sport. NBA playoffs, I usually do really well. And MLB is my second best sport, like, throughout my career. And MLB usually does really well for me as well. So May typically is one of my best months. So hopefully it's going to happen again. Let's do it. Peace out, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Mark, Charles, Matthew, all of you guys, man. Who else was in here? Nate. Did I get all of you guys? I think I got all of you. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. And that's going to do it. I'll be back in the morning with the bets for tomorrow. And I haven't even looked at the card yet, so I don't know what it's going to be. But we have NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and baseball. And got to break it all down. Peace out, everybody.